Make sure that there are no knots, kinks, etc. in it. Excellent. So once it's all flaked out, we're going to set this rope up for 4 people. There are only 2 of us doing the setup, so we're going to put 4 turns in it. So John, I'm going to have you hang on to that. And then I'm going to put a turn in the rope here at this pulley. And I'm wearing my harness, so I'm going to go ahead and clip it to me. Then I'm going to give it to John again. We're going to put another turn in the rope there with another pulley. Each turn in the rope is going to become a tie-in point. So because we're setting up for 4 people, we need to have 4 turns in our rope. I'm going to put a 3rd turn in. And a 4th turn in. Now this one we don't have a pulley on, so it can just run through the carabiner. That's fine. Now as you can see, we've kind of created this W shape with the 4 turns. John's holding on to one end, and now all John and I have to do is walk apart from each other until the end of the rope is in my hand. And there we go. Excellent. So now we tie a figure 8 on a bight anywhere there is a pulley. So we can drop the end of the rope, and anywhere that there's a pulley or a carabiner where we put that turn, that's going to create our tie-in point. So there's my figure 8 on a bight. Make that a little bigger. For glacier travel, we want to have that about 2 hand widths for our tie-in point. Then I can remove the pulley, and I would be ready to clip in and tie a prusik hitch and then coil it with a Mountaineers coil. Okay, so now that we have our figure 8 on a bight, tied with a width of about 2 hand loops, we're ready to go ahead and tie into this rope for glacier travel. The first thing we're going to do is attach a large pear-shaped walking carabiner to that figure 8 on a bight and lock it. The next thing we're going to do is tie a prusik hitch in the direction of my lead climber. If you are the lead climber, this goes backwards to your second. Using my long piece of cord, one of my long pieces of cord, right? Long piece of cord, I'm going to tie that prusik hitch just above my figure 8 knot. Remembering to wrap around 1, 2, 3 times. And then a pretty knot is a happy knot, so we're going to dress it, make sure it looks right. There it is. All right, now that we've tied that prusik hitch, the next thing we need to do is close the ends and make a loop. And I want the knot to be slightly offset so that it never comes to rest on the carabiner. To do that, I'm going to take the ends and offset the ends, and then tie a flat overhand bend. With a flat overhand bend, you need to make sure you tighten all 4 strands. Then this loop is getting clipped in to another locking carabiner on my belay loop. Once that's done, we need to check and make sure that the prusik is not so far out that in a fall, the prusik would take my weight. Instead, we need the knot to take my weight. So if I tug on this, the knot takes my weight, the prusik does not. But now we have all this slack down here, and we need to do something with it. I like to just daisy chain it and get it out of the way. Some people just tuck it into a pocket, whatever works for you. So I'm going to daisy chain it and then tuck it into a pocket. With that out of the way, we're ready to attach our ice axe. Attaching our ice axe leash to the same locking carabiner as the prusik, and making sure it's locked. So if I am the second or third climber on a rope team, I'm now ready for my buddy check and ready to go. If I am the lead climber on a rope team or the end climber on a rope team, I need to coil the rest of this rope into a mountaineer's coil. To do that, I'm going to hold the strand that leads to the tail of the rope and hold it at about my harness height. And then wrap the rope around me to make the coil, bearing in mind that the size of the coil will be different based on the size of the climber and whether or not they're wearing their pack or how big that pack is. Once I've gotten it coiled all the way to the end, I'm going to take the whole thing off my shoulder. Then, finding the strand that leads to my figure 8, which is here for me, I'm going to put a turn in it, and then with the loose end, wrap backwards on itself toward that turn. When I get close to the end of my rope, stick it through the turn, grab the strand that leads to my figure 8, tighten it to lock it down. Then I can throw that over my shoulder and I'm ready to go.